What's going on, guys? So I wanted to make a little bit of a video because there's so many questions that I get asked in the comments on these Jeep videos and on these Jeeps and these frames, and the questions are coming from Instagram, they're coming from YouTube, they're coming from Facebook, they're coming on my phone, they're coming through email, they're coming through everything, which is a good thing. It gives me an opportunity to kind of give you guys an idea of what the deal is with these Jeeps and why we're fixing them, because I see a lot of people saying, hey, why are you fixing that? Just get rid of it. It's not worth it anymore. Well, let's start off by saying this. Here in the Northeast, from Maine to about New Jersey or even, Maryland area, so Pennsylvania and everything around us, New York, whatever, these are a very popular vehicle. And the reason being is that we have really hot summers and we have really cold winters with tons of snow. Now, with that being said, Jeeps are great for all of that. You take the top off in the summer, take the doors off in the summer, cruise on the beach with it. Everything's amazing. Then in the wintertime, it becomes your winter vehicle. You throw a hard top on it, you get in it, they don't get stuck. You can drive them through tons of snow. You can drive them through anything. So with that being said, in the Northeast, a Jeep Wrangler is one of the most popular, let's just say, all-around vehicles, like everyday vehicles. And so with them being the best everyday vehicle that you can buy as like a secondary vehicle, so most people that I do these jobs for have two vehicles in their family already. They usually have two cars or a pickup truck and a car or something else. And the Jeep just becomes kind of a toy. You enjoy it in the summertime. You can beat on it in the wintertime. They even make cheap plow kits you can put on these things and you can plow with them. And the aftermarket is so incredibly saturated with parts for these Jeeps that you can make them anything you want. You can have a beach cruiser. You can have a snow machine. You can have a rock crawler. You can have any of that with this platform. So it is an amazing, amazing platform to have fun with. And, us being in Connecticut, we do have beaches. We do have rocky areas. We have a lot of wooded areas. We have a lot of on-road stuff. So a Jeep around here is just amazing. Now, when it gets down to why we're repairing these frames, well, for a good condition, 1997 to 2006 Wrangler, you are paying anywhere from $5,000 to one that's rotted, to $15,000 for one that's in pristine condition from 2006. The prices are insane. It's just out of control, and they never change. A 1997 Jeep Wrangler will still command an $8,500 price tag in good condition. That's with the frame fixed. That's with everything in good condition, all the body rot fixed, all that stuff taken care of. Now, with that being said, if it's got a rotted frame, you're still paying $5,000 for these things. If it's got rotted fenders, you're still paying $5,000 for these things. So what happens a lot of times is someone will buy, like this one that we're actually you guys are sitting on right now, is a 98. This 98 was purchased a bunch of years ago. They really, really, truly enjoy this thing, and unfortunately, they had some frame rot issues. A lot of frame rot issues, to the tune of close to $5,000 worth of frame rot issues. But you have two choices here. You can spend $5,000 on a vehicle that is reliable drivetrain-wise, or you can sell this one for $5,000. You can come up with another $5,000 and go buy one that's pristine. So it's kind of a here or there, because then, you're still spending the same $5,000, but at that point, you're buying another vehicle that you know nothing about. It could have hidden frame damage, like this one did. This one had Bondo and chicken wire holding the frame together. And you couldn't tell because whoever did the Bondo job was amazing. So what I'm getting at with all this, and I'm trying not to get too far off topic with this one, and if I do, I apologize. What I'm getting at is the reason that we repair these frames is because these Jeeps are great vehicles, aside from the frame rot issue. And with that being said, if you bring me a Jeep that has your basic frame rot, the one that all these things have under the skid plate and at the rear control arms, you're looking at a $2,500 bill. $2,500, I can completely repair your frame. It'll last another 10 to 20 years, and you'll never have a problem with it. The engines that are in these things, the 4-liter 6-cylinder, lasts forever. I've seen these things run upside down. I've seen them run with no oil in them. I've seen them run, hundreds of thousands of miles. So with that being said, you spend $2,500 and you've got a vehicle that's going to last you the next 10 or 20 years versus going out and buying something that you have no history on, you know nothing about, and you may get into this problem all over again. So you might go, I have one right now that the gentleman spent, I think, $12,000 to purchase it. It's a real super low mileage Wrangler. It's only got 50,000 miles on it, but he paid 12 grand for it, and it's got frame rot. So, you could be getting into something like that where it, it ends up being just out of control. But just to give you guys an idea of, cost versus practicality, let's go over a few things on this Jeep itself. So this Jeep right now is completely fixed. We did the front frame section. You can see there's a patch right there. We did all that, rebuilt the whole area by the steering box. We put a 2.5-inch rough country lift in it. We did all new springs. We did the whole center section of the frame. You can see there, the whole center section is done all the way up. The skid plate's been repaired. We did all the rear control arm mounts. We did the upper spring buckets. We did lower spring perches down there. We did a new gas tank skid plate. We did the whole rear section as well. And that entire rear section includes the rear cross member and all that other stuff. Now, with that, we installed the 2.5-inch lift kit, as I said, and we repaired a whole bunch of stuff. Literally repaired a whole bunch of stuff, including putting a brand new clutch in this thing. And the cost was still under $5,000. So, when it comes to doing stuff like that, we literally just rebuilt and rejuvenated and saved this entire Jeep for under $5,000. Now, this thing is going to be great. All the suspension's been replaced. The clutch has been replaced. All the frame's been replaced. You name it, it's been done, and they can rely on this thing. They can get in it. They can drive it. They can drive it in the winter. They can drive it in the summer, take the top off of it, and enjoy it. Now, here's the other side of these. So I've had probably 3 or 4 of them so far that have been literally sentimental heirlooms that have been passed down. One of them, I had a client whose father had passed away, and he owned the Jeep, and the grandkids loved it, and so it was the one thing that this gentleman had left from his father. There was another one that I did where the client's sister had passed away, and the Jeep was her pride and joy, and she loved it. And her sister managed to get it after she had passed and wanted to make sure that everything was good and completely rebuilt it. So now she has that sentimental aspect of her sister that she can drive every day and remember her sister. And then, I've had several customers that said, yeah, my dad had a Jeep when I was a little kid and I loved it. And I always told myself when I got older, I would buy a Jeep. And, there's just such a community around these things, and there's such a sentimental value to a lot of them. And, for me in general, when I was growing up, when I was a kid, my uncle, my godfather, owned nothing but CJs. He had a bunch of CJ7s, a couple of CJ5s, and he had them all, modified out and put Chevy small blocks in them, and they were all super lifted and all kinds of crazy stuff. And I can remember being a little kid and riding in the back of my uncle's Jeep, and I loved it. And so when I got old enough, I bought a Jeep, and then I got into Jeeps, and then I started rock crawling and doing all kinds of other stuff. So there's definitely a huge community around these things, and that huge community means that there's a ton of aftermarket availability. There's a ton of modification availability. There's a ton of information online. There's a ton of companies that make repair stuff for these things. And all around, it's just an amazing vehicle. Now, I know a lot of you are going to disagree with me that have probably never driven one of these things, but once you've driven one and you've accidentally hit a curb and it did no damage to the vehicle, or you accidentally hit a tree or a pole or something and all you did was bend a fender, and realized it was only $50 to put a fender liner on it, or a side skirt, or a fender flare, or a bumper corner, or you know, whatever. Once you've driven one of these with the top off, the doors off, it's like catching a bug. You automatically need to have one. You automatically are going to go out and try to find one, and you're automatically going to pay $5,000 for one with a rotted frame. So that's kind of the reasoning behind why we fix these things. And some of you may see it as a waste of money and you just go buy something new and blah, blah, blah. But there's heritage here. These older Jeeps, these YJs, the TJs, have a much more visceral and a much more raw feeling than the new JK stuff does. So a lot of people who drive TJs don't want to drive JKs because they don't feel like Jeeps anymore. They feel more like cars. You know, with these older ones, you can take the top off in the middle of a downpour, and the only thing you're going to have to do is dry your seats out, you know, once you're done. It hurts nothing else. You pull the two plugs in the floor and it drains out. And, you know, so there's a lot to be said about these things. So, you know, when you see these videos of me fixing them, you're like, wow, that's a lot of work. I don't know why someone would do that. Everything I just said are all the reasons why. So thank you guys for watching all these videos. And thank you to all of you who have watched these videos and brought me your Jeeps. I really, truly appreciate the business. And for those of you whose Jeeps I have fixed, I can honestly say that I have been honored to work on some of the vehicles that mean so much to you guys, and been able to save vehicles that mean so much to you guys after you've been told by several mechanics that, you know, they're not fixable and they're unwanted and you should just junk them and everything else. And I've been able to resurrect them. And so, you know, it's one of the things that I'm really, really happy to do is when a vehicle is on its last legs, but there's repair that can be done that would save it. I'm all about that. It's almost like I was saying the other day. It was like, you know, going to the dog pound and go to the Humane Society and want to adopt every freaking dog in there, even the broken ones, so that you can fix them. And that's kind of like what I'm doing with these vehicles is, you know, I'm fixing these things and allowing people to have that happiness of driving these things that they've come to know and that they enjoy. So I get a huge kick out of it. You guys love these videos. So I don't know, man. I enjoy doing it. You guys enjoy watching it. So thank you very much. And now I think I'm going to go probably pull this one out and pull the next one in. We have 3 more to do and 4 or 5 more that we need to call back. And again, if you guys are watching this video and you called and you left a message or you sent an email and I haven't gotten back to you yet, we are super, super busy. So for that, I apologize. And I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. So I'm done talking. It's been 13 minutes now. And yeah, so we'll see you guys on the next one. Don't know what that's going to be. It might be a Jeep, or if you guys were a little perceptive, which I think you are, you probably caught something in the back of this video that that should be an interesting project for us to work on. And I'll definitely be filming that stuff. So have a great Sunday night, everybody. Get ready for Monday. Happy work day. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Have a great night.
Oh.